Hi, I'm Cindy, and welcome to another writing video. This time, I am going to be sharing a few thoughts on the process of foreshadowing events in your novel. Uh, I enjoy to study these little things and share them along with you. And don't forget, this is actually my first adventure with writing fiction. So I'm basically learning things as I go and sharing them along with you. And I hope you get out of it as much as I do. Um, let's dive in. Now, foreshadowing is a literary device used to indicate to the reader that there is an important plot point or storyline twist that is coming up soon. It builds tension, it adds to the atmosphere of the story, and it should be done with subtlety so as not to overpower the story thus far or needlessly misdirecting your reader, as in the case of a red herring. Now, a red herring has value and is most often used in mysteries. That's probably the only place where you would use a red herring because you don't want to tip off to the reader exactly what's coming up. Foreshadowing done in other genres and certainly in romance would be different from foretelling, in that foretelling lets the reader know precisely what the character will be up against as the character follows a given direction. And instead, foreshadow allows the person to see what might be lying ahead by revealing a shadow that is coming up in a particular direction. And it's usually done in subtle and non obvious ways. The key is to hint at the possible choices and the possible events that loom on the horizon in ways that suggest the possibilities and possible outcomes while falling just short of making promises of these events to the reader. It is important to not spoil the story by revealing too much too soon. Get it right, and the reader is going to lean into the story with anticipation and hang on to every word. Get it wrong, and your pacing will fall out of rhythm, and just behind the pacing will fall the reader's attention, and that may detract from the development of the character. Less is more when you're using foreshadow. Foreshadowing must never be done to reference an unimportant event, like you wouldn't foreshadow breakfast. Okay. But it should be done sparingly, which keeps your reader's attention. If you're wondering where best to use the story technique of foreshadow, there are 6 opportunities that come to my mind. In the opening pages, in the first 5 pages, that would be perfect because you want to get that right. Um, if you use foreshadow that early, that would be a good place. But on any of the opening pages, when you're showing the normal world of your character at the beginning of the story, what you don't want is to use a foreshadow that comes too closely to the actual event. You want the reader to be picking up on it, but you want it to be indirect. You don't want it to be on page 10 is the uh, foreshadow, and then page 11 is the event. No, probably not. Um, okay, so there are any number of events that can be foreshadowed. The inciting incident, um, a key event, um, plot point one, you know, rising and falling action, the climactic moment, as well as the resolution. Each of these are excellent story moments for foreshadowing, and there may be others, but those are the main ones. You may find others. The foreshadow should be sewn in kind of casually, but very deliberately. It's got to be done with purpose. Otherwise, it's not going to be authentic, and it's not going to be real to the storyline, and the reader will pick up on it, and it will fail. Okay. Okay. If there's a knife that's introduced, that knife has to be used somehow. Everything is important. Every every bit of scenery, all of it. Very important to do the whole thing. Everything has to be deliberate. You do not want to break the cardinal rule of story writing, which is to not lie to your character. Don't make promises you won't deliver on. Otherwise, you'll end up at the very end trying to do some kind of a cliffhanger, and that fails more often than you think. You don't want your readers confused. Don't lie to them. Don't confuse them. A storyline that is confusing or foreshadowing that's confusing will likely cause the reader to put down the book, which means it's going to result in fewer sales in the future. For those of us, including myself, who are not well-seasoned writers, because I'm not well-seasoned with fiction, although I've written inspiration and self-help. I even have Bible studies under my belt. But fiction writing, no. So it's probably best, if you're not well-seasoned, to add foreshadowing moments to a second draft rather than risk needing to do a massive, deep rewrite and course correction later on. Two examples I want to talk about are from Harry Potter. And I love Harry Potter. In fact, I'm probably going to do at some point a video series where I go over the plot points as they are done in the novel and as they are in the movies, because I have a collection, the full collection of each. So I'm going to do that. I don't know when, if I'll do that here or if I'll do that on my page or both. I don't know. Just an idea. It's just popping in my brain every once in a while, so I might do it. But let me talk to you about the foreshadows that come to my brain. Okay, the first one is from the Chamber of Secrets, and that would be Tom Riddle's diary. And the second one, which is pretty big, is the prophecy about Harry and Voldemort. We find that in the Order of the Phoenix. More about the use of the technique of foreshadow can be found on both the website and in the Writing How-To books of K.M. Weiland. She is great. If you've not read her how-to books, I highly recommend them. If you haven't gotten into her blog, her YouTube channel, I would encourage you, if you're studying the craft of writing, she's one of the better ones to study with. I do. I reference her quite often. And I find her to be an invaluable resource along with other things she's written. And her books are very well done as well. And that's all I have for today. So until next time.